Hello friends, welcome to my channel called Fun with Fundamentals. In this channel, I'll be giving an introductory course named as Magnetism in Condensed Matter. The first chapter will deal with the introduction, mainly about isolated magnetic moments. Then we will go over to the classical description of magnetism. Then finally, in the end of this chapter 1, we will discuss the quantum mechanics of spin. For this, following this course, you can refer the book named as Magnetism in Condensed Matter by the author Stephen Blundell from the Oxford Master Series. So before we begin this introductory course on magnetism in condensed matter, please like, share and subscribe to my channel for detailed information on the upcoming courses. So in this course, the very first thing that we will learn is the definition of magnetic moment. For that, let us consider a current carrying loop carrying a current I. So if you consider an elementary area in the loop with the area ds, then the magnetic moment due to this small area is given by the product of the current and the area of the small loop. Now this by definition gives the value of the magnetic moment associated with this small loop of area ds carrying a current I. Now if you want to find out the magnetic moment associated with the whole current carrying loop, then you will integrate both sides of this equation. Then you will get the total magnetic moment, which is given by mu vector equals to the current times area vector. Here A gives the total area of the loop and the direction of the vector A is given by the right hand screw rule. That is, if you curl the fingers of your right hand along the direction of the current, then the direction in which your thumb points gives the direction of the area vector. Now this mu or the magnetic moment has an SI unit of ampere into meter square. Now going into a little details of how this integration is done, consider two small loops sitting adjacent to each other. The current in loop 1 flows as such shown in the figure, while the current in loop 2 flows as such given by the red arrows. Now you can see in the middle path the direction of current cancel out each other. So in the end what you will get is a net current flowing along the boundary of the loop. So this is how the integration is performed, that is, the contribution from each loop is added to get the net moment due to this current carrying loop. Now we will show that the magnetic moment is associated with angular momentum. For that, consider a particle of mass m carrying a charge E revolving in a circular path of radius r. This orbiting particle has a mass m and hence has a momentum given by mv square by r, where v is the velocity of the particle given by 2 pi r by tau, where tau is the time period of rotation. Now this orbiting particle also has a charge E and hence carries a magnetic moment given by mu, which is the product of the current and the area of the loop. Hence, from these two observations, we can say the magnetic moment is proportional to the angular momentum L. Now if you use a constant of proportionality gamma, mu is equal to gamma times L, and this gamma is known as the gyromagnetic ratio. Now we will give the experimental proof of the relation mu equals to gamma times L. This was experimentally proven in 1915 by a phenomenon known as the Einstein-de Haas effect. For this experiment, consider a ferromagnetic rod being hung from a torsion fiber and a current carrying coil is wound around the ferromagnetic rod as shown in the figure. Initially, the rod is at rest and it is not magnetized. Now when the current is switched on in the coil, it produces a magnetic field in the coil similar to that in a solenoid. Now the magnetic field direction is vertical as shown in the figure. Since the rod is ferromagnetic, the moments in the ferromagnetic rod align in the direction of the applied field, and hence the rod gets magnetized. Due to this magnetization, now the rod produces a net angular momentum. But as you know from the law of conservation of momentum, the momentum before should be equal to the momentum after. And as you know, the rod was initially at rest, so the momentum before is equal to 0. So, to satisfy this law of conservation of momentum, the rod starts rotating in a direction that is opposite to the direction of the induced angular momentum. Hence, this experiment proves that the magnetic moment is associated with a net angular momentum, and by measuring the value of the angular momentum and the magnetic moment, we can deduce the value of the gyromagnetic ratio gamma. The opposite of this effect also exists and is known as the Barnett effect. Here, there is a net magnetization induced in the ferromagnetic rod when the rod is being rotated.